Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk harness racing. It is a huge day Saturday. It is Sun Stake Saturday, Mohegan Sun at Pocono Downs. Let's talk with Hall of Fame driver John Campbell joining us on the show. Well, John, welcome in, and I'm sure you're really excited, as always, about some great drives coming up Saturday.
Yeah, I am, to tell you the truth, John. I mean, anytime we get a chance to go for $500,000, that's a lot of money. For these horses to go for. And, it's exciting just to be able to participate in these races. And, if you're fortunate enough to be successful, it's not only a great payday, but that's what we want to do. We want to win. So, it's something we look forward to.
John, you're still such a great competitor out there, and obviously the horses are competitors as well. But from the driver's standpoint, each and every year it seems like another driver comes onto the scene, and they're all trying to get a piece of the action, and you're still hanging with all of them.
Well, I'm doing okay. I don't drive as much as I used to, and, part of that's by choice. I don't travel around and drive as much as some of the younger guys, but that's just evolution, John. I mean, you got to expect that. There's going to be guys coming up, and the drivers' colony throughout North America, I think, is deeper than it's ever been. There's just so many really good young drivers that, at any time they can jump up and make the right decision with their horses and win big races.
Well, you look at the history of the Campbell family, and you and Jim, you guys are doing a great job. The next generation coming along?
Oh, definitely. Not for us. Our family's not going to be involved, but there's families and young people that are coming up and being involved throughout the Midwest and the East Coast. People that I've known. Tyler Smith is a young driver that I've known since he was 3 years old, and he's doing extremely well in the Midwest, and there's more people like him. So it's, there's a good following behind us of good people that are talented, and they're going to continue on after we're done.
And John, how about for you long term, as far as driving wise? As time goes on, is it something you want to do for years to come, or is it at some point you're just going to sit back and whether you want to be an owner or a trainer or just kind of get out of the sport altogether?
Well, I don't think I want to get out of the sport altogether. That's for sure. But I mean, as far as driving, there's going to come a time, whether it's within 2 years, 3 years, I'm not sure what that time is. When I don't get the opportunity to drive good horses in big races, that's when I'll know, that it's time for me to step away. But, I think this Saturday is a good barometer. We've got 4 races, and I've got 3 really good chances in those 3 races. So at this time, that's what I'm in it for, is to have a chance to race horses in these big races. And when those chances diminish, that's when I'll know it's time for somebody else to step up to the plate.
We are talking with legendary driver John Campbell here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Well, John, let's talk about one of those horses you have on Saturday, and it is sometimes said. Tell us about this horse.
Well, he's a horse that hasn't won that many races, but he's been one of those horses that's always knocking at the door. He was second in the Breeders' Crown last fall at Pocono, raced extremely well. Second in his elimination for the North America Cup, and unfortunately he ran into some road trouble and just didn't get the chance to do his best in the final of that. Raced really well in his elimination of the Hemp, but finished third. But, I think he's in a good spot. He's got the 4-hole. He's a horse that likes to stalk, and if he can, come off the pace and get into the flow in the outer tier where a horse drags him up in there, I think he's a horse that can do some damage in the final.
And John, a little bit of luck now for this one. 9-hole, 10-hole once before. The 4-hole's looking pretty good, I'm sure.
Absolutely. They had a redraw. He drew the 9-hole. The first time around, they had a redraw due to some circumstances. So getting the 4-hole, that's a big bonus. And it only helps if we take advantage of that. We have to take advantage of that redraw going from 9 to 4, and I hope he does.
John, let's talk about Galley by the Beach.
She's a filly. I think she's going to race really well on Saturday night. She drew the 7-hole, but she's a horse that wants to be up near the front. She's one of those horses that can be on the lead or near the lead. Drawing the 7 isn't the greatest, but it's not the worst for her because she can step out of the gate pretty good. She was one of the top 2-year-old fillies last year. Just kind of rounding into form, and very happy with her race, even though she got beat last week. I think she's going to be even better this week. Whether that's good enough, I don't know, but I think she's going to race well.
John Campbell talking about Sun Stakes Saturday this weekend, Mohegan Sun at Pocono Downs. You have another horse to talk about, and that is Nuncio.
Well, he's really racing well. He was a horse that had a tremendous amount of ability last year, but I couldn't rate him. He just wanted to do everything too early in the mile, too early in the race, and just couldn't, hold him off for that last quarter where he'd be strong. Jimmy Takter has taken over the training of him, done a really remarkable job with him, and he's been very relaxed. He's won every start this year, coming off the pace. This is his toughest test, there's no question. He's in with Father Patrick, who is the best, the most highly touted 3-year-old for sure. And he's, if you beat him, you're beating the best. And we've got the 2-hole, and I expect him to race really well. I think Nunzio's a horse that has a chance of not only winning this race, but being a contender in the Hamiltonian.
How much different is the strategy at Mohegan Sun at Pocono Downs with the 5/8 mile track versus some of the other tracks you race at, whether it's the Meadowlands or if you're up in Canada?
Well, it's a 5/8 mile track, so it's a little smaller. You have to be closer to the front. There's no question about that. It's the fastest surface in North America. There's just no doubt in my mind about that. It's very forgiving for horses. They get over it great, but you have to be up near the front, and that's why so many world records are set at Mohegan Sun. It's just a fantastic surface, and they get around it so well.
Yeah, the surface has been talked about on a lot of different levels, and in hearing from a Hall of Fame driver like yourself saying it is the fastest surface is great to know. And then hopefully the people come out and support some great racing. $2.1 million in purses. Sun Stakes Saturday. John, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you and see you continue your success in your harness driving career, and we thank you as always for your time.
Anytime, John. Glad to be part of it. And as I said, it's fun to be part of these big races. And, this is one of the biggest cards we have in North America throughout the year.
John Campbell will be in town Saturday, Mohegan Sun at Pocono Downs here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.